What if I told you that the lottery isn't really about luck, but about alignment? Because the truth is, many have picked the right numbers and still lost their way. Why? Because without inner balance, outer success falls apart. Now, imagine this. What if April 15th, 2025 isn't just a date on the calendar, but a rare portal where spiritual energy, personal intention, and universal timing align, not just for wealth, but for clarity, transformation, and peace. In this video, we'll explore 6 powerful numbers, each grounded in ancient Buddhist teachings. These aren't random, they're mirrors, reflecting who you are, what you seek, and how ready you are to receive what's meant for you. But here's the catch. This isn't about sitting and hoping. It's about becoming the kind of person who can hold abundance with grace and wisdom. To kick off this journey, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of growth and insight. And here's your first action. Comment below. I welcome growth and harmony into my life. Just by doing that, you're setting an intention, a signal that you're ready for something deeper than luck. Let's begin. The path opens April 15th. Part 1, number 23. The art of harmony in an unbalanced world. The number 23 isn't loud or flashy. It doesn't scream for attention. But within its quiet presence lies something rare and essential: balance. In numerology and Buddhist wisdom, 2 represents cooperation, while 3 stands for creativity and joyful expression. Together, they form a dance, a fusion of structure and spontaneity, of diplomacy and imagination. This number isn't about choosing sides. It's about learning to flow between them, like a tree that bends in the wind but never breaks. Let me tell you a story. There was once an old man named Toma who lived in a peaceful rural village. He was known for saying very little, but when he spoke, people listened. One day, a bitter conflict broke out between 2 branches of a large extended family. Accusations flew, property lines were challenged, and even the children had stopped speaking to one another. It seemed irreparable. Toma didn't take sides. He invited them to sit beneath a Bodhi tree in his yard. He listened quietly, then handed each person a piece of colored string and asked them to create a weaving together without speaking. Confused at first, they began. One nodded in silence, another looped thread without words. Over time, the tension began to ease. When the weaving was done, it was a mess, but it was theirs. Toma simply said, "You don't need to fix everything today. Just keep weaving." That night, the families shared a meal for the first time in months. The number 23 is a gentle teacher. It reminds us that harmony isn't about silence or avoidance. It's about the creative process of working through the messiness of human connection, of listening, adapting, and finding a rhythm that includes all voices, not just our own. In today's world, where disagreements escalate fast and egos rise even faster, we need the wisdom of 23 more than ever. Whether it's in a marriage, a work team, or even the dialogue we hold with ourselves, balance is never static. It's an active practice, and often it's deeply creative. Think about your own life. Are there relationships that feel out of sync? Are you listening more than defending? Are you expressing or just reacting? 23 invites you to pause. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. To recognize that harmony doesn't come from controlling every note. It comes from learning how to improvise together. So, as April 15th approaches, let the number 23 guide you. not just toward good fortune, but toward peace within yourself and with those around you. Because sometimes the most powerful luck is a heart at ease with the world. Part 2, number 88, the mindset that magnetizes wealth. Number 88 isn't just a symbol. It's a vibration, a current, a continuous loop of energy that never stops moving, much like the figure 8 itself. In many cultures, 8 is the most auspicious of numbers, representing wealth, prosperity, and abundance. But when doubled into 88, its message deepens, not just about what you gain, but how you carry it. True wealth, you see, isn't about possession. It's about alignment. Let me share the story of a man named Harlan. Harlan was 60 when he started over. After a lifetime of working for others, he decided to build something of his own, a small tea shop rooted in Buddhist principles. Every detail was intentional. He sourced leaves from ethical growers, wrote handwritten notes of gratitude to each customer, and opened the day with 10 minutes of meditation in the quiet corner of his shop. He wasn't chasing riches. He was building meaning. At first, the business was slow. Friends laughed, family worried. But Harlan remained steady. He treated every cup he poured as an offering, not just a transaction. Within 2 years, the shop was thriving. Local press featured him, customers returned, not just for the tea, but for the peace they felt stepping through his door. And yes, his bank account reflected that shift. But the greatest change? His inner world. Harlan didn't accumulate wealth by racing. He magnetized it by being aligned with purpose, presence, and principle. That's the energy of 88. Buddhism teaches that what we sow, we eventually reap, but not always in the way we expect. The number 88 speaks to this invisible current. It reminds us that abundance flows where intention goes. If you pour heart, effort, and ethics into your work, the rewards come, not just in dollars, but in dignity. And yet, in today's world, the noise tells us otherwise. Get rich fast, hack your way there, win big. But 88 is quiet. It's consistent. It's the path of those who understand that true prosperity is sustainable because it's earned with integrity. So ask yourself, are your actions aligned with what you want to receive? Do you give the same energy to your goals that you expect back from the universe? As we approach April 15th, let the number 88 be more than a lucky number. Let it be a reminder that wealth is a rhythm, not a rush. You don't have to chase fortune. You simply have to become someone it feels safe to land with. Part 3, number 4, the power of daily disciplines. If number 88 is the rhythm of wealth, then number 4 is the soil it grows from. It doesn't shimmer or shout. It doesn't promise quick wins or dazzling change. Instead, number 4 is humble, solid, silent, and steady. It represents foundation, discipline, and sustainable action. And in a world obsessed with shortcuts, its message is deeply radical. Success isn't about speed, it's about structure. Let me tell you the story of Mr. Thomas, a retired carpenter in his late 70s who lived alone in the countryside. A few years ago, he suffered a mild stroke. Doctors warned him recovery would be slow and possibly incomplete. But Mr. Thomas nodded quietly and returned to his small, weathered home without complaint. He didn't wait for a miracle. He built one day at a time. Each morning, before the sun rose, he sat by his window and stretched for 5 minutes. Then he'd sweep the yard, not because it needed sweeping, but because he needed to move. He began cooking simple meals, reading out loud to himself to rebuild clarity, and walking exactly 200 steps around his garden. He kept track on a paper taped to the wall. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. After a year, not only had he regained most of his strength, he'd become sharper, calmer, and more self-aware than before. "Discipline," he said, smiling, "is how I repair myself." That's the spirit of number 4. In both numerology and Buddhist teachings, 4 represents the earthly, the grounded, the stable. It reminds us that our lives are built not from grand moments, but from small, repeated choices. The Buddha himself once said, "A disciplined mind brings happiness." And what is discipline, if not the quiet decision to keep showing up? In today's society, where instant gratification reigns, number 4 asks us to slow down and rebuild trust with time. Because while motivation may come and go, ritual remains. It is your quiet anchor in the chaos. You might be dreaming of big wins on April 15th, a lottery ticket, a financial breakthrough, a new beginning, and that's beautiful. But what will you stand on when that wave comes? A shaky floor? Or a solid foundation? Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's brushing your teeth when you don't feel like it. Choosing water instead of soda. Waking up 10 minutes earlier to meditate. Saying no to one more distraction. It's boring sometimes, but boring builds empires. Quiet builds character. Number 4 knows this truth well. So ask yourself, what are 3 small actions you can begin today that, if done daily, would change your life a year from now? Write them down. Start small. Stay steady. Because the greatest fortunes don't belong to those who move fast. They belong to those who move with purpose. And that is the power of number 4. Part 4, number 19. Embracing the threshold of transformation. Some numbers don't just speak, they echo. And number 19 is one of them. A fusion of the pioneering energy of 1 and the completion wisdom of 9. Number 19 is the threshold where something ends, so something else can begin. It holds the bittersweet energy of transitions. Painful, uncertain, but profoundly necessary. This number appears when life pulls the rug from under your feet, only to show you've had wings all along. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Victor. In his early 50s, he had everything society says defines a man. An executive title, a corner office, a big house. But then came the layoffs, the divorce, the silence from people who once called him brother. He lost it all, career, reputation, even his sense of identity. For weeks, Victor did nothing. Then, one morning, he picked up an old notebook from a dusty drawer. Inside were scribbles of poems he'd written decades ago, back when he felt alive, not just successful. He began writing again. Not for money, not for status, but for truth. Each morning, with nothing but coffee and a pen, he wrote what hurt, what healed, what he wished he'd said to his younger self. A few months later, he posted one of the poems online. It went viral. Within a year, he had published a book and was invited to speak about resilience at community centers and schools. But Victor never called it a comeback. He called it a rebirth. That is the journey of 19. In Buddhist thought, transformation doesn't come from changing your environment. It comes from changing your relationship to it. You can't always control what ends, but you can always choose how you respond when it does. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." And this number, 19, is the living embodiment of that truth. In modern life, we fear endings. We fight them, resist them, deny them. but number 19 invites us to sit with them, to see that every closed door is also a corridor to something new. A better version of yourself is not born in comfort, but in the fires of uncertainty. So what phase of your life might be coming to a close right now? Is there something, an identity, a role, a belief you're being asked to outgrow? You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start walking. Number 19 is not a promise of ease. It's a promise of potential. It tells you, you've learned enough. Now it's time to apply it. So, as April 15th nears, let 19 be your reminder. Not all losses are punishment. Some are portals. And not all endings are endings. Sometimes, they're the quiet beginning of a life that finally feels true. Part 5. Number 16. Self-care as a foundation for inner abundance. There's a quiet power in number 16, a strength not built on force, but on clarity, rest, and self-leadership. It blends the nurturing energy of 6 with the individual strength of 1. This number isn't about chasing after the world, it's about returning to yourself, especially in a time when the noise around us grows louder every day. You see, true abundance isn't born from burnout. It's born from inner balance. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Elias who had been chasing one goal for over a decade, winning the lottery. He wasn't careless or desperate. He was obsessed with patterns, odds, predictions. He tracked draw histories like a scientist. He even skipped family gatherings, birthday dinners, and vacations just to refine his strategies. Then, one night, the impossible happened. He matched 5 out of 6 numbers. He missed the jackpot by a single digit, just 1. The payout would have changed everything. Elias didn't cry. He didn't scream. He went quiet. And in that silence, he realized something he hadn't seen in years. He didn't even know who he was anymore. He had become so consumed with the pursuit of success that he'd stopped living. He had health issues he ignored, friendships that faded, a heart that felt tired. Not from failure, but from neglect. That night, he turned off all his devices. The next morning, for the first time in years, he took a walk with no destination. He breathed. He stretched. He called his sister. It was the beginning of something new. Not a jackpot, but a return. That's what number 16 teaches us. In Buddhist philosophy, self-care is not indulgence, it's wisdom. A man who leads others, dreams big, or bears great responsibility must first know how to care for himself, because you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot sustain success from an empty cup. Number 16 whispers. Slow down, listen. What are you ignoring inside yourself? We live in a culture that rewards output and hustle, but 16 reminds us that even leaders, especially leaders, need solitude, stillness, and softness. Self-care doesn't always look like spa days or long vacations. Sometimes, it's choosing to rest instead of push. It's journaling before sleep instead of scrolling. It's saying no to one more obligation, and yes to stillness. Ask yourself, when was the last time you checked in, not with your calendar, but with your soul? Because here's the truth. No one wins long-term if they're emotionally bankrupt. As April 15th approaches, many will be focusing on numbers, odds, and external signs. But let number 16 be your internal compass, a reminder that your well-being is your wealth. The man who can sit still with himself, who nurtures his mind and body with kindness, that's the man who's ready to receive. That's the man fortune can trust. Part 6. Number 9. Completion, letting go, and the bigger picture. In the sacred language of numbers, 9 is not an end, it's an opening. It carries the wisdom of all the numbers before it. It represents completion, release, and a return to service. It invites us to look beyond personal ambition and ask the deeper questions. What am I holding on to? And what might be waiting if I dared to let go? Number 9 is not about having more. It's about realizing you've always had enough. Let me share a story. There was a man named Mr. Surya, age 78, who lived in the hills of northern Thailand. A retired businessman, he had built a respectable life, comfortable, quiet, and financially secure. His home overlooked rice fields. His children were grown. His health, though slower, was steady. By all measures, he had made it. And yet, something inside him felt unfinished. Each morning, he would watch children walk miles, barefoot, just to reach the nearest school. One day, he followed them silently and saw a crumbling one-room structure with no electricity and few books. He stood there for a long time, heart heavy with clarity. That afternoon, he made a decision. He sold the land he'd planned to pass down. He used nearly his entire savings to build a proper school. Friends called him crazy. His children were confused. But when the school opened and he saw the students laughing under a new roof with light in their eyes, he cried. And for the first time in years, he whispered to himself, "Now, I am full." That is the energy of number 9. Buddhist teachings speak of impermanence, the idea that all things rise, pass, and change. Clinging causes suffering, but release is freedom. To let go is not to lose. It is to make space for healing, for new beginnings, for deeper purpose. In today's world, we're taught to accumulate more status, more things, more control. But number 9 gently asks us to simplify, to distill life down to what actually matters. What are you still holding on to that no longer serves you? Old grudges? Outdated goals? Possessions that fill your house but not your heart? Letting go doesn't mean failure. It means you're ready for what's next. Because when one chapter ends, the page doesn't disappear. It turns. And often, what awaits on the other side is not just renewal, but meaning. Number 9 is also the number of service. It invites us to look beyond ourselves, to ask, how can my journey uplift others? In giving, we often discover what we were really looking for all along: connection, fulfillment, peace. As April 15th draws near, remember, you don't need to chase more. You may just need to release what's already too heavy. Because sometimes, the richest life isn't one filled with things. It's one where you finally feel light. Part 7. How to use these numbers practically. Visualization, mindfulness, and daily rituals. Knowing the symbolic power of these 6 numbers, 23, 88, 4, 19, 16, and 9, is only the beginning. The real magic happens when you start to interact with them mindfully, creatively, and consistently. These numbers aren't just lucky charms. They are anchors, ways to tune your mind, body, and spirit to a higher frequency. So how do we do that? Here are 3 simple yet powerful practices you can start today. 1. Journaling with intention. Each morning or evening, choose one number to focus on and write freely. Begin with a simple prompt like, where in my life do I need more balance/discipline/letting go? How can I embody the energy of this number today? Use these affirmations as your opening lines. 23. I welcome balance and creativity into all that I do. 88. I embody abundance and trust in the flow of prosperity. 4. I build strong foundations through small daily actions. 19. I embrace endings as doorways to new beginnings. 16. I care for myself with love, presence, and respect. 9. I let go with peace and live in service of something greater. 2. Number. Meditation. Find a quiet space. Light a candle if you'd like. Choose a number. Visualize it in your mind, its shape, its energy. Imagine its symbolism becoming a light inside you. As you breathe, repeat the number's affirmation, slowly, like a mantra. Example: inhale, I embody abundance. Exhale, I trust the flow. Just 5-10 minutes a day can ground you more deeply than you think. 3. Create a personal energy map. Draw a simple circle divided into 6 slices, like a pie chart. Assign one number to each segment. Write one goal or area of focus for each: health, career, relationships, mindset, rest, contribution. Place this energy wheel where you can see it, on your desk, altar, or phone wallpaper. Let it remind you not only of the 6 numbers, but of the 6 layers of your life you are cultivating. The more you live these numbers, not just wish upon them, the more you begin to see shifts in clarity, in confidence, in calm. Because numbers don't create miracles. Your energy does. By now you've realized these numbers aren't just symbols. They're invitations to pause, to reflect, to realign your life from the inside out. Because while April 15th, 2025 may hold rare cosmic energy, the most powerful shift begins within you. Balance isn't random. Abundance isn't luck. Transformation isn't magic. They're all results of how you choose to live, lead, and let go. Day by day, breath by breath. Professor Awi Panisha. So whether it's the harmony of 23, the prosperity of 88, the grounded strength of 4, the brave rebirth of 19, the emotional clarity of 16, or the wisdom of 9, these numbers are here to mirror your highest self back to you. Let them guide your journaling, fuel your meditations, shape your small, consistent actions. Because in the end, the greatest fortune is not a lottery win. It's a life lived with intention, peace, and meaning. Which number spoke to you most today? Comment it below and affirm your journey by typing, I align with my highest self. And if this message touched your heart or brought clarity to your path, please like this video, subscribe for more grounded wisdom, turn on the bell so you never miss the next insight. Thank you for walking this path with us. Until we meet again, stay rooted, stay open-hearted, and may your journey be guided by peace, purpose, and prosperity.